This video is sponsored by Ultimate Guard, but even long before this channel was sponsored by Ultimate Guard, they were always my #1 choice when it comes to sleeves or deck boxes. Pick up Ultimate Guard products at your local game store, or order them on Amazon, link down below. Welcome once again to Commander by Danon. Today we conclude our series upgrading the pre-constructed commander decks from Bloomburrow. As I'm sure you saw from the thumbnail and video title, today we'll be looking at Peace Offering, the Bant Group Hug deck. Also, and I know it's annoying to keep hearing this, but statistically if I don't ask you to like and subscribe, the video gets fewer subscribers. Welcome once again to Commander by Danon. Peace Offering is led by Miss Bumbleflower, a 4-mana 1/5 legendary rabbit citizen with vigilance. Whenever we cast a spell, target opponent draws a card. We then put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and it gains flying until the end of turn. If this is the second time this ability has resolved, we draw 2 cards. I gotta be honest, I love this deck. It is my favorite of the pre-constructed decks. Now, the last 3 decks I cut around 20 cards from the deck and used those cards to create a new deck, but not this time. The only 2 changes I'm going to make are to remove the alternate commander, Mr. Foxglove, and a Plains, and replace them with a commit memory for some graveyard hate and an alternate win con. For those who haven't studied the pre-con deck, let's take a look at it with those 2 minor changes. But before we do, a quick reminder about our checklist. While not necessary, it does help make your deck more functional and serves as a reminder when deck building. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. One more thing, I'm planning on streaming again soon. It'll mostly be Final Fantasy XIV, but I do spend a lot of time building commander decks on stream, or discussing manga and anime. If you'd like to come hang out, you can catch me on Twitch or on my other YouTube channel, Musings by Danon. For lands, the deck has Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Seaside Citadel, Sunpetal Grove, Glacial Fortress, Hinterland Harbor, Canopy Vista, Prairie Stream, Razorverge Thicket, Seachrome Coast, Sungrass Prairie, Skycloud Expanse, Overflowing Basin, Flooded Grove, Brushland, Adarkar Wastes, Yavimaya Coast, Temple of Plenty, Temple of Enlightenment, Temple of Mystery, Thriving Heath, Thriving Isle, Thriving Grove, Reliquary Tower, Evolving Wilds, Terramorphic Expanse, 3 plains, 4 islands, and 4 forests. Sort of a hodgepodge of the usual lands you'll find in a commander deck, but honestly a pretty decent mana base for a budget deck. The mana ramp package is also nice and robust, containing Bloodroot Apothecary, Rishkar Pima Renegade, Rites of Flourishing, Fabro Elder, Girapur Orrery, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Mind Stone, Felwar Stone, Thought Vessel, Coveted Jewel, Farseek, Cultivate, Tempt with Discovery, and Sylvala Explorer Returned. Lots of group hug effects along with some staples. Just what we're looking for. The card advantage package is also great in this deck. We've got Coiling Oracle, Jolly Gerbils, Lauren of the Third Path, Tamio Field Researcher, Tenuous Truth, Tempt with Bunnies, Mangara the Diplomat, Sphinx of Enlightenment, Communal Brewing, Intellectual Offering, Secret Rendezvous, Wizard Class, Peerless Recycling, Fisher's Talent, and Quain Itinerant Meddler. Again, mostly group hug, but that's what we're going for in this deck. For interaction and spot removal, the deck contains Illusionist's Gambit, Generous Gift, Swords to Plowshares, Broken Wings, Wear Down, Martial Impetus, Long River's Pull, An Offer You Can't Refuse, and the one card that we added, Commit Memory. Commit Memory is one of my favorite spells in Magic, and is a nice way to get rid of graveyards, as well as remove annoying permanents on the battlefield or spells from the stack. For board wipes, the deck comes with Promise of Loyalty, Realm Cloaked Giant, and Perplexing Test. Fun and thematic. The core of this deck consists of Steelburr Champion, Sunscorch Regent, Hoofprints of the Stag, Forgotten Ancient, Managorger Hydra, Colonian Hydra, Simic Ascendancy, Psychosis Crawler, Triskia Decaphile, Jolrael Mulvaney Recluse, Chasm Skulker, Octomancer, 20-Toed Toad, Body of Knowledge, and the one card we added, Forced Fruition. It can be fun to watch your opponents slowly deck themselves. Supporting our plan, we've also got Spore Frog, Perch Protection, Riot Control, and Baird, Steward of Argive. Now that we've gone over the deck, let's compare it to our checklist. 52 mana sources split between 37 lands and 15 pieces of ramp. A little high, but we're group hug, so it's fine. 15 pieces of card advantage, but most of those are also group hug effects. 9 pieces of interaction, 3 board wipes, 1 piece of graveyard hate in Commit Memory, 1 sudden I win card in Simic Ascendancy. Our deck generates a ton of +1/+1 counters, so it is possible to cast Simic Ascendancy, pass the turn, then put a ton of counters on it through various shenanigans, and win on our upkeep. That being said, we're not a combo deck. We're a group hug deck. The goal of this deck is to help make the game more fun. More mana for everyone, more cards for everyone, more fun for the whole table. And if we end up winning, don't worry. I'm sure Mrs. Bumbleflower brought milk and cookies for everyone. But what about the other deck, Danon? Well, this last one had an upgrade budget of about $1, so I decided to go hog wild with the other deck. This is not a nice deck. But then again, the commander isn't very nice either. Mr. Foxglove is a 5-mana 3/5 legendary fox rogue with lifelink. Whenever Mr. Foxglove attacks, we draw cards equal to the number of cards in defending player's hand, minus the number of cards in our hand. If we didn't draw cards this way, we may put a creature card from our hand onto the battlefield. In other words, if an opponent has 7 cards in hand and we have 3, we draw 4 cards when Mr. Foxglove attacks. But if that's reversed, and we have more cards than our opponent, we get to slam an enormous creature on board. So we'll want to draw a lot of cards with this deck to make sure we always have the most cards in hand. Or just attack opponents who have fewer cards than us. For lands, we're running Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Windswept Heath, Flooded Strand, Misty Rainforest, Arid Mesa, Polluted Delta, Wooded Foothills, Spara's Headquarters, Temple Garden, Hallowed Fountain, Breeding Pool, Bountiful Promenade, Sea of Clouds, Rejuvenating Springs, Overgrown Farmland, Deserted Beach, Dreamroot Cascade, Sunpetal Grove, Glacial Fortress, Hinterland Harbor, Lush Portico, Meticulous Archive, Hedge Maze, 4 Plains, 4 Islands, and 5 Forests. What? I told you this wasn't a budget list. For mana ramp, we've got Noble Hierarch, Vorinclex Voice of Hunger, Nyxbloom Ancient, Old Gnawbone, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Smothering Tithe, Nature's Lore, 3 Visit, Rampant Growth, Farseek, Cultivate, Kodama's Reach, and Skyshroud Claim. Our card advantage package consists of Nezahal Primal Tide, Ancient Silver Dragon, Consecrated Sphinx, Rhystic Study, Eternal Witness, Echo of Eons, Emergency Powers, Bonnie Paul Clear Cutter, Fairy Mastermind, Sun Titan, and Eladamri's Call. For spot removal and interaction, we have Hullbreaker Horror, Commit Memory, Terastodon, Angel of the Ruins, Generous Gift, Return to Nature, Beast Within, Fierce Guardianship, Arcane Denial, Heroic Intervention, Teferi's Protection, Mana Drain, Dovin's Veto, Counterspell, Capsize, and Unsummon. A good mix of protection, counter magic, and spot removal. To reset the board, we're running Cyclonic Rift, Farewell, Consuming Tide, Flood of Tears, and Aetherize. Gotta keep our opponents in line somehow. The core of our deck consists of Ghalta Stampede Tyrant, Avacyn Angel of Hope, Jin Gitaxias Core Augur, Elish Norn Grand Cenobite, Kodama of the East Tree, Koma Cosmos Serpent, Storvald Frost Giant Jarl, Ghalta and Mavrin, Void Winnower, Zapandrel Hunger Dominus, Sarah's Emissary, Cultivator Colossus, Ancient Gold Dragon, and Ancient Bronze Dragon. To protect our commander, we're running Reconnaissance, Lightning Greaves, and Swiftfoot Boots. Now that we have our deck list, we can compare it to our checklist. 51 mana sources split between 37 lanes and 14 pieces of ramp. A little high, but our curve is high, so it's fine. 12 pieces of card advantage counting our commander. 16 pieces of interaction, 5 board wipes, 5 pieces of graveyard hate in Commit Memory, Farewell, Return to Nature, Echo of Eons, and Emergency Powers, 1 Sudden Eye win card in Cyclonic Rift. The fun part about this deck is we can pivot between drawing a ton of cards or slamming big scary creatures down on the battlefield. This deck will generate a ton of salt with your opponents, especially if you land a Vorinclex Voice of Hunger. But that's okay, we can protect him with counter magic or heroic intervention as needed, or bounce him back to our hand if necessary. But Cyclonic Rift allows us to clear the path. After we've spent a few turns drawing a ton of cards and slamming big scary creatures, we can cast a Cyclonic Rift and bounce all of our opponent's stuff, clearing a path to victory. I know the deck isn't budget, but I like to have a variety of decks, both on my channel and in person. I like having decks that are worth a lot of money and others that are as cheap as a pre-constructed deck. It's fun to play all levels of Commander, from super casual to high-end CEDH. With that in mind, I will keep having videos on this channel that are super cheap and others that are more than a car payment. Let me know down in the comments what kind of Commander player you are. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cutestuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. You can have a video made or just ask for help building or tuning a deck list. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Jiraiya, Danny, Muffins, Marcus, Brett, Roxy, Sean, Mark, Borgie, Nazwin, Midge, Alex, Conga, Aaron, Chris, Robert, Austin, William, Pye, Turner, Triz, Kazaris, Slack, and Dan. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander Deck videos every weekday, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.